Dr. Roy Mackal, an avid evolutionist, has been over there twice. There have been 12 expeditions to the central Congo swamp in the last 12 years to try to photograph the apatosauruses still living there. And that's where my research has been in cryptozoology. I have many pictures and eyewitness accounts of some of these few remaining dinosaurs that are still alive. And they're not like Komodo dragons. Of course, if we had not found the Komodo dragon alive and had only found the skeleton, it would be listed as a dinosaur. The fact that it's alive precludes it from being a dinosaur in the minds of many. But dinosaurs have been hunted to the point of extinction in most parts of the world, and most species are extinct. But a few still remain to this day.
That would be a fun trip for...
He's going back this year. Dr. Mackal is. Right.
Controversial about dinosaurs. We have, again, two things there I saw come up that I'm sorry, the flood, worldwide flood, and evidences for that we haven't even got into. Dinosaurs, but and all about are they today, are they not today, what were they, when were they, which I don't know how strong that is for or against position of evolution or creation. I think a common concern, and now you approached this yesterday on the radio, but I'd like to maybe conclude with, and I think this is really deals with the whole subject as far as I'm concerned. And both of you stated that you're dealing with a faith rather than a fact. And why is it that only evolution is taught, in your estimation, in our school system? And maybe it's not that way, but seems to be. And I think you stated, you think, if I can get the right words, you stated they're hiding it. It's kind of being kept out on purpose.
Creation is being kept out?
Politically expedient to teach evolution.
It's the currently accepted theory. Just like the flat Earth, you know, when everybody believed flat Earth, you didn't dare teach anything else, or geocentric theory.
We're dealing with theories. So theory, what's your theory? Why it's not being, why evolution is being taught as fact rather than theory?
Well, because the implications
of... I can document that.
Sure. Oh, I've got many, hundreds of the public school textbooks myself. I collect them, but the implications of creation are unacceptable to many. If this world was created, then there may be a creator that they have to be accountable to, and I'm convinced that's a strong underlying reason. The second thing, I think, is majority opinion. People are afraid to go against their colleagues' opinion, and they know they will be censored out or ridiculed. You don't dare go against the established scientific dogma. Just like Galileo was nearly executed for saying the moon had craters on it because the scientific establishment said no, the moon was smooth. And anytime you go against the politically correct attitude of the day, you are asking to be ostracized.
You're using the term political, if I can interrupt you. You're talking about
by
politically, not from
Democrat and Republican. No,
Clinton.
no.
You're talking about in the scientific community.
Right, in the scientific community. Peer pressure. It is scientifically acceptable to believe in evolution, and it is scientifically unacceptable. Of course, then you've got to get a definition of who is a scientist. In many, they will say, if you do not believe in evolution, you are not a scientist. Therefore, you are not qualified to make a judgment. I asked the doctor yesterday on the radio, or Sunday on the radio, what would happen if a geologist at this university began believing in a young Earth and creation. And he said he does not think such a creature exists. In other words, if you believe in creation, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, but if you believe in creation and if you believe the Earth is young, you are no longer a qualified geologist.
What? Just kind of expand on yesterday. You're talking about why.
Yeah, let me address the initial part there, though, about why evolution's taught and creation isn't. Remember, I pointed out early that science is not grinding an axe for any particular thing. It's just working at this basis on, and completely separate of any particular source. Now, the creationist view as put forth by creation science in this country stems entirely from Judeo-Christian literature, which in this country where we have a separation of church and state, you can't impose one particular sect's view on society, whereas there is no particular aspect of theology in the reporting of the converging evidence toward this is how the earth was formed and the evidence for it. Now the argument, let me get the first numbers that you paused to write down. Read those back. that he made mention of 94% of the people believe in such and such and do not believe. Now suddenly this less than 10% of people who constitute this powerful lobby, we scientists who few people know, have imposed our biased view and thrown out facts. I think that what we're dealing with here is, I say, judge for yourself. Remember, as I say, think of what scientific investigation and the reality, the truth that it has brought, have generated in your life today. But suddenly we pick on one particular subject? No, that's not true at all. It is basically a question of, it's not a finished theory. We don't know all.
And I was fishing, as you.
Well, it could be, but the long and short.
For you to say what you said yesterday, because I believe, and you were talking about political, but you were talking about the political scientific community, but you were talking about yesterday political. And that's, I think, we the people. I think that's why you're here. You have allowed it to happen. I mean, you're the ones that have allowed, because he was saying politically, every textbook is determined by the local community. And if you're allowing it to happen, you're saying, we're going to, if you believe that it ought to be taught, it ought not to be taught as fact, well then you ought to be telling somebody about that versus sitting around and complaining about it. And that's what a lot of people do. If they don't like something, they complain about it instead of saying something about it and telling somebody you don't like it and saying, change it. And,
but you're going to have to come up with reasons other than it is not my belief.
Right.
Because your religious belief is not a basis of imposing a means of instruction. And you cannot, believe me, in a courtroom or in a valid debate, get by with some of the misrepresentations that have come from creation science, where they selectively take certain things and use them. And I'm not saying scientists don't do it, but on the side of science is the overwhelming strength of self-criticism, we might say, refinement and development of growth in an environment of criticism.
But Dr. Hilpman has been, and Dr. Hovind both have stated, and we have it an understanding that both are, in scientific terms, theories. In scientific terms, theories. Because nobody was there. And that's my only contention, of course, as a Bible-believing Christian and biblical perspective. I've stated again, I'm all open to the theory. My biggest contention is the fact that textbooks say it's fact.
Well, let's put it in the context of today's news, or the last week. I've been listening, and I'm so sick and tired of hearing about this couple in Topeka with their baby in and out of the hospital because of their beliefs that without medicine and so forth. When you get into the field of medicine and much of what we're doing there, it's based on a number of things that are not accepted by religious dogma. And if you don't choose to accept it, you don't have to. But the long and short of it, as I say, you have a community in this society here in Kansas City, in this room, and in the United States, with a Judeo-Christian background, that fundamentally are living much of their lives accepting on faith the fruits of scientific research. Where it comes a cropper with the idea of the long or short age of the earth, that's a problem. And if I were going to accuse anybody of choosing the facts that give them the right date, I would say it is a creation scientist who cannot accept a long time unless they have to compromise the idea that the 7 days were longer than 7 days, or some other circumvention of the element. They don't want to compromise their faith, and I'm not saying they should. I'm just simply saying is, don't accuse us of attacking the Bible. When I look at a rock or I interpret a fossil, I do so merely to unravel a bit of Earth history, to broaden that circle of light. Where the knowledge falls, I don't know. Alfred Nobel, the inventor of dynamite, he was motivated to do good for mankind. But obviously, his knowledge was misused and probably has brought more harm than good. I don't know. But we're not responsible for that.
Right, I agree with
No, you are.
And that's exactly it. And
Yeah.
you're the ones who have to come to grips with the problem
You're the
of
ones
certain
that-
realities and certain faith. And that's it. And don't let anybody talk you out of anything, but don't expect schools to accept the argument that this is my belief. You can go to a religious school, do that, but if it's going to be a public one, it almost has to be independent of any theological view.
I agree, and that's where evolution falls in the realm of theology, and it does not
Well,
belong
that's
in
a
the public
point that's
school.
been tested in the courts and will be tested again, and I'm not going to say that when the court says
Maybe we'll
this is
cover it.
right, because
many-
I disagree with the court more often than not, so
Well, many
I'm sure
locals-
the group, we can all agree
Well,
on
I
that.
think that we come to the conclusion that neither of these gentlemen are the ones that get to say ultimately what's printed in the textbooks, which is, but you are supposed to be able to.
They're
That's kind of
correct.
where I'd love to carry it on all night, and some of you probably would stay here all night, and I appreciate that. But some of you would say, I've heard enough. I mean, if you want to stay around and ask some questions of these gentlemen, please don't. Again, I think it's been an excellent evening. I'd like to thank them. I'd like for you to thank them for their good spirits. It's been what I had hoped, just a good discussion of these the facts and what as we perceive them. So let's thank these gentlemen for being here.
Do you want to know more about how to combat the godless theory of evolution? Creation Science Evangelism offers 4 great tools that help strengthen the faith of believers and win the lost to Christ. After 15 years of teaching high school science, Dr. Hovind began Creation Science Evangelism in 1989. We are a ministry that is dedicated to providing tools which will help you combat the evolution philosophy that is destroying the faith of millions every year. The first tool Creation Science offers is their powerful, life-changing video series. Over the last 12 years, well over 1 million videotapes of Dr. Hovind's seminar have circled the globe. They are reaping a harvest of souls for the kingdom of Christ, as well as helping restore the faith of many thousands confused by the evolution propaganda to which they've been subjected. These videos are available in English, Russian, French, Spanish, Japanese, and sign language. The Age of the Earth, first of the 7-part series, teaches that God created the universe about 6,000 years ago in 6 literal days. Could this be true? Can it be scientifically proven that the Earth is not billions of years old? This tape gives solid scientific evidence that the Earth is young and that the Bible is scientifically accurate. How did the environment of the original creation differ from ours today? And how would this allow men to live over 900 years? Can Christians have a good explanation for the existence of dinosaurs? Could some dinosaurs still be alive today? These and many more questions are covered in the 2nd and 3rd part of the series. Evolution has permeated public school textbooks with false and fraudulent information. This video exposes nearly 30 lies commonly found in textbooks. Every public school student, teacher, and school board member needs to watch part 4 of this series. Find out if you have been lied to in your textbooks. Discover the terrible difference evolutionary beliefs have made in the past as well as in recent history in our video number 5. Dictators throughout time have used their evolution-based philosophies to rationalize their brutal actions. Learn how evolution propaganda is being used today to prepare people for the New World Order. This is just a taste of all the information the 17-hour seminar series has to offer. Also available are college courses that expand on the seminars in great detail. For those who can handle a more confrontational atmosphere, our debate series is just for you.
I said, now, Mr. Patterson, if you think the tailbone is vestigial, I, Kent Hovind, will pay to have yours removed.
Dr. Hovind has debated a wide range of atheists and evolutionists all over the country, and you're sure to find these 12 debates very exciting. These would be perfect to present to that scientifically minded person who likes to argue their point. Our topical series includes exciting topics like why evolution is stupid, public school presentation, children's video about dinosaurs, the Bible and health, Leviathan, the fire-breathing dragon, and many more. Creation Science also offers a variety of visuals, like the longevity chart, which presents the entire lineage of Adam to Joseph as given in Genesis. It's exciting to see exactly how many generations were alive at the same time. Hundreds of books on a variety of subjects, videos on incredible creatures that defy evolution, t-shirts, fossils, and more. Make Creation Science Evangelism the one-stop shopping center for your creation material needs. Our two websites, www.drdino.com and www.dinosauradventureland.com, provide our second tool for evangelism. drdino.com is packed with lots of information, from charts and graphs